Welcome back. Even the most skeptical and smartest people are falling victim to scammers who are getting more and more sophisticated every day. Joining us to talk about steps to take to avoid falling for those scams is Paul Benda. He is Executive Vice President for Risk, Fraud, and Security at the American Bankers Association. Paul, thank you so much for being here this morning. We appreciate you.
Stephanie, thanks for having me.
Of course. So what are the most common scams that people are falling for right now?
Sure. And I think, one of the ones we see a lot is imposter scams. The criminals try to pretend to be someone they're not. They try to be a bank, they try to be a retailer, they try to be the government, and they try and convince you to give up information or to make a payment. And we see them really leveraging technology to build trust with their victims. The caller ID that shows the number they're calling from might be spoofed and show actually your bank name and your bank number. They might have bought information on the dark web that includes your name and your address and the last four of your social security number. So when they call you, they actually have information about you. Your telephone says it might be someone from your bank, and they can be very convincing. And they can convince you to give up your security credentials, to validate your username and password, or maybe even to make a payment.
And I know that they use time-sensitive kind of language to do this. Is that one of the red flags when it comes to these calls?
Yeah, that's a big red flag. And so we see this a lot. They try to create a sense of urgency. So many of your viewers probably got those fake toll text scam alerts, right? And basically said, hey, you need to pay this toll or your license is going to be revoked. Or they might call you up and say, oh, your child's in trouble and you have to make a payment, otherwise they're going to go to jail. So they want you to act and not think. They want you to make this payment. They want you to get scared so that you're actually not thinking about what's going on and you take some rash actions.
And who are they targeting the most? Older people? I know younger people are getting targeted more too now.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to think that older folks are the ones that quote unquote fall for these scams more often. It's actually younger people. Younger people are online. They're getting more access to social media messages, to emails. And we've seen, just like you use AI to help you write better, the criminals use AI to help them write better. And so we're not seeing those same red flags you might have seen in emails of the past with misspellings and other things. So it looks just like what you get from a normal person. They're meeting young people where they're at. So young people actually fall for scams more often. Older people, though, tend to lose a lot more when they get engaged in a scam.
Paul, I see the little graphic behind you. It says practice safe checks. What is that? What does that mean?
That's right. So we try and use humor in our campaigns to educate consumers. This is one of our big efforts that we've launched because check fraud has become such a problem. We have our Practice Safe Checks campaign. You go to practicesafechecks.com, and we have a series of tips that can help try and protect you from experiencing check fraud, from using a gel pen when you write out a check, to tracking that check when you give it to someone, making sure you know when it gets deposited, make sure that amount matches what you wrote, make sure whoever deposited it is the right person that deposited. And tips like, don't ever put a check in the mailbox in your driveway and put that steal me flag up, because criminals drive around and actually pull mail out of those mailboxes, steal your check, will wash it, and then cash it in their name.
Interesting. Gel pens, why is that so important?
So the criminals have ways that they can actually wash the ink off of a check. And the gel pen, it's like a Sharpie, works much better at retaining the ink so they can't actually clean that check and repurpose it.
Interesting, interesting. With artificial intelligence, are you seeing that now also involved with scams?
We are. We're seeing them use it, like I said, with those targeted phishing emails. They can actually recreate a website much easier now. They can create an email that looks just like it came from your bank. But we're also even seeing them deepfake voices. We've actually had reports where criminals have deepfaked a customer's voice to try and get through the authentication procedures at a bank, or where they've even deepfaked a child's voice and then call up a parent or a grandparent, have that child be in distress to try and make them act quickly and send a payment because that child is in distress.
And what do you recommend to avoid that happening to you?
Those kinds of things. So that, it's a scary situation. One of the things we do recommend is that you have a family password. So this is really simple. So when you call up grandma, you should be training your grandkids to use a password, whether it's butterscotch or whatever you want to pick. And so that way grandma can always validate, I'm talking to the child. And if she ever gets a call from someone that's in distress, what's the family password? And if the person doesn't know it, then you know you're not talking to your family member. It's a great way to validate who you're talking to.
And how are they able to use people's voices?
Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of really easily accessible commercial tools that are out there that can copy voices. You need less than 10 seconds of audio. You put it in these tools, and it'll actually totally recreate the voice. I did this exact same demo with my own daughter's voice. I was able to recreate her voice and have her actually mimicked to pretend like she was in distress and like we see in these grandmother scams. It's actually very easy to do.
Yeah, I know. I've had a talk with my mom about all of this recently, unfortunately. Also, the other graphic behind you, banks never ask that. Okay, what will your bank never ask you?
Exactly. So again, like we're trying to use humor. So the question is, would your bank ever ask you, do you wear boxers or briefs? Do you believe in aliens? Would your bank ever call you up and ask for the PIN number of your debit card? Would we ever call you up and ask for the debit card number? Would we ever call you up and ask for that one-time passcode? So the idea is that your bank is never going to call you out of the blue and ask for that sensitive information. Now, if you initiate the call, you know who you've called, you know who you're talking to, it's okay to give that information out. But when someone calls you, like we said, that phone number could be spoofed, that name could be spoofed. It could be anyone pretending to be someone else trying to get that sensitive information from you.
And if you think that this is possibly a scam, what should you do? Do you hang up and call the police? Do you call your bank directly? What should you do?
Well, it's really critical if you've been part of a scam and you've made any kind of transaction, whether it's a credit card or you sent money somewhere, call your bank immediately. You need to call them and let them know, or the credit card company let them know. They might be able to stop that transaction. They might be able to recover those funds. If you've lost money, contact the FBI at the IC3, the Internet Crime Complaint Center, ic3.gov. And if you do have lost money, we always like to have people get a police report, because it's always good to have that under record in case there's any type of investigation or any type of insurance claim that's needed. So that's really critical, is to act quickly, especially if you sent funds anywhere.
All right, that is good information. Paul, is there anything we missed here? I mean, anything that you really want the public to know right now?
We'd just love them to go to banksneveraskThat.com. We've got a great program there with some funny videos. You can have a quiz to test your scam knowledge, compete with your relatives during Thanksgiving. And if you're still writing checks, we hope you're not. We hope you're using electronic payments. Go to practicesafechecks.com, and you can get some tips on how to keep yourself safe from check fraud.
Yeah, I got to go get some of those gel pens, Paul. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Paul Benda. We really appreciate your time on this Sunday.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie.